here we are with another card. Okay, so this one, you should have your thick white base. Okay, you're going to have a layer of designer series paper. Okay, go on there like that. And that can go right down. There. That can go right on your card front. You don't have to wait for that for anything. And I didn't get it perfectly centered, but that's okay. All right, so with this one, I'm going to need a little bit of scrap paper. So we're going to take this big flower and we're going to stamp it to make a whole garden with this. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with one going pretty much all the way up, okay, like this. Okay, now don't worry about the bottom because we're going to have a little piece of this covering some of that anyway. All right, now then I'm going to try and get just this side like this. Okay. And then one over here. Like that. And one last one just up here. Kind of peeking in. Okay. All right. So now we're only, this is sort of called the spotlight technique. Now you can color these if you wanted to. You could just color them with blends or watercolor pencils or whatever. Or you have a couple of other options, okay? One of the options you have is to stamp the regular flowers and then trim them so that they fit to cover those. It gets a little finicky, but not terrible. The other option you have is to stamp just your flowers here and quickly fussy cut them out. They are not difficult, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. Okay, so I'm going to cut one, and you can see I'm kind of chopping around the outside to get all of that extra, because all that extra paper does is bump into your hand while you're cutting and make it harder. Okay, so remember, you're gonna move the paper, not your scissors. All that's happening with your scissors is you're gradually closing them down from being pretty open, and you're just curving around, and the hand that's moving the paper is really the one that's doing most of the work. Okay, and we will have a whole new box of glue dots because my other one is getting pretty low. All right, so we'll just grab a glue dot with our So Saffron cardstock and cover that right. Oh, you know what? Did the wrong one. why that didn't seem to be fitting very well. Now listen here, glue dot. I know, they really stick. All right, that's got paper on it, so let's see if we can get that off. There we go. Try a new one and put it on the correct flower. I didn't think it was fitting quite right. Oh, much better over here. Much. Look at that. So much better. So much better. So when you only color or add color, either by paper piecing like this, that's what this technique is called, paper piecing. Okay. When you only add color to just a small portion like this, it's called spotlighting. So that's 2 techniques in one card. Aren't you lucky? And spotlighting can be really effective. If you can use it a lot of different ways, but it's a great thing if you have a big image or something that you don't want to color everything, but you want to have a pop of color. So spotlighting can work really well for that. Okay. All right, this one's going to need a couple of glue dots, I think. One at that side, one at that side, and maybe even one down there. Okay. So you notice when I'm doing my fussy cutting, it's not perfect, and you don't hardly even notice that it goes over a little bit. So you want to stay just outside the line as opposed to just inside the line. You want to leave your black lines on the item that you're cutting out. You want that outline still there. And then if you're not quite touching it, it doesn't even really show. Okay. Oops, I got a little close to that line. Which is another reason that you stamp it first, because that way you have the line down here to help fill in for your eyes if you need it. Okay, so let's get this one down there. And if you decide you want to do more than that, you sure could. There we go. See? All right, then I'm actually going to just color these leaves. Like this. This happens to be my dark soft succulent blend. If you don't have the new in color blends yet, no worries, just use what you've got. I'm gonna do this leaf because I'm not exactly sure if a little tip of that is gonna peep out. It might from the behind the designer series paper, so I want to kind of let that be there. Okay. So we'll put that designer series paper on. This is from the hand penned designer series paper. We got this really pretty yellow scallops. Now you can have your scallops going under or over. I think I want mine going over. So I'm going to just run that right along that bottom edge right there. Okay, so it ended up, and you could make this narrower if you really wanted to. And it did end up covering that whole leaf that I colored, but that's okay. All right, so now in your envelope, you also have this nice piece of black, and doesn't that just pop really nicely? Now, let's hope that my stamping is a little better this time than last. I didn't do a great job and I've worked too hard to have it not come out well. All right. And I'm using the Thank You for Everything again, just because it's on a block and I don't really want to change everything. Okay, so, but you can use whatever greeting you want, and it doesn't even have to be from this set. If you have another greeting set that you really love, use that instead. That's totally fine. There. So let's put this on here. Like that. Okay. And because we have a whole bunch, let's just use some dimensional edges to put this whole thing right up on dimensionals. Okay, so we'll put that whole layer right up on dimensionals. There it goes. There. So then this can go up here. Now if you happen to have some baker's twine or something and you want to add a little bow or string something around there, you sure could. I didn't happen to, but you could. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one.